Okay, hi. Welcome to Module 8. Yeah, I know it has been a long one, right? So we're finally here. And for the next couple of modules, we'll just be picking out some of the applications very popular in the dynamics space for customer engagement. And I'm walking you through the whole app interface, right? And um, what can do, right? Just on the app to give you an exposure into those apps. So the app we'll be looking at in module 8 is the Dynamics 365 sales. All right, so let's move in and see what this sales app for Dynamics 365 contains. So what is Dynamics 365 sales? So Dynamics 365 sales, um, which is one of the sales solution, right, for the customer relationship management tool. It helps sales teams to manage leads, opportunity quotes, then close out on deals. It's a very sweet line of process which you are going to be seeing, right? It includes other features you might have are things like sales forecasting, like pipeline management and productivity tools that could help your agents, right? So people that run the sales arm of an organization. So this sales app will actually be a good pick for them. So what's the sales process and the core entities like, right? So the sales process, the 965 usually starts from a lead. So after a lead, once the lead is qualified, then you now move that lead to an opportunity. So based on different activities that were performed on the activity, if the opportunity if the opportunity is now leading to you having products that the person wants to purchase, then you now proceed to give the person a quote. Once the quote has been given, and the person is fine with it, right? The person can now request for another. Then you also issue an invoice for payment, and if the payment is paid, then you're done. Your process is closed, as easy and sweet as that. So we're going to be walking through the lead and opportunity management, right? So basically, lead basically captures prospective customers. So people that you think might be your client, people that you think might be your customer, right? So let's say you are in a business marketing campaign, right? And there are some persons you meet here and there. So those persons are your leads, right? There are people that you can reach out to after that occasion, and you could get more things to follow up with them, showcase your products. So let me now walk us through. Let's just head to our demo environment and let's see how the sales application actually looks like and how the lead to opportunities uh, spans out. So when you go to your out of the box dynamics application, right? So if you have sales enabled for it, you see a sales hub here. So when you click on the sales hub, it brings you to the landing page of sales, right? So this is one panel, right? You could see we have the home. So the home is where quick informations are gotten, right? Then you have the recent that takes you to maybe the last recent things you did, right? Then you have activities, sorry, sales accelerator. Um, Also, maybe you have sequence of activities. So there are none here. Basically, that's why we can't see anything on the dashboard. So we have activities. So activities basically are things that has been that needs to be carried out or has been carried out. So the things that make up the um, activities, right? You could say quite a number of them here. So things like tasks make up your activity, emails, appointments, phone call. So just all those things that can be tracked on the timeline, just like we showed earlier on, right? Are things that are called activities. So we have different views, right? So you can come here and click to see all activities. So you'll be able to see all activities that are visible to you, right? You could scroll down and see every single activity that has been created on the system. You could also filter by the due date, or you could filter by the type. So you can see the different kind of activities we have. So let's say we want to filter all the emails. So when I click on this, it filters out all the emails. So you can see all the emails activity on the system. So that's basically how the activity table panel work, right? So this is actually connected to the activity pointer. Then we now have the dashboards, right? So this is where different dashboard that are available to that user will be seen. So we don't have data for my profile on on this environment. That's why we can't really see things on my opportunities. So these are just dashboards, right? Here I'll be showing my open opportunities. Here I'll be showing my open leads. So this also is still my top open opportunities. Then you could see other dashboards down, right? See my activity conversation. So I have the option of switching between different dashboards, right? So when I switch, different things come up. And you could also create new dashboard, right? Depending on what you want. So you can see how the different dashboard looks like, right? So you could click on the new here and you could create Dynamics 365 dashboard. So that's basically how you could guide either creating for your clients, or you can guide your clients that they can come here by themselves, right? To just cluster the kind of data they want to see. Then one of the key concepts you need to understand is the concept of accounts and contacts. So when you see accounts on Dynamics 365 sales, you also see that on customer service. What that refers to is a company, right? So account speaks to a company like an entity. Then contact speaks to individuals. So you could have individuals working in a specific company in accounts. So you can't have one person working in multiple companies in an account. That's the relationship, the way the two work. So you can have one account having many people in contacts. So how does account look like? So let's just say we open this graphic design institute. So this is a record of a sample account. So you can see the things that are being captured on this form are the account name, phone number, the fax, the website, then the parent account. If it has like a group, right? There's a parent group and you could see every other thing below it. They also have the address of that company. So you as a functional consultant, you can extend this form, right, to capture more information that your client wants to capture. Then as usual, on this middle part, we have the timeline. So we know what the timeline is, right? It helps to track every single activities against this record. So every single thing that was done to a contact that is an employee of this company, which is an account, every of those things will be tracked here. So with this, you can have an holistic view of what's happening about that company. Then you also have the cool co-pilot feature here that can help you give key highlights of some activities that have been performed against this company, which is a graphic design institute. Then you have some other tabs at the top here. You have the detail tabs, right? It now gives you more details about the company, things like the company profile. So you could set which industry it belongs to, the SIC code, and also the ownership. You could put description about the company. Then you have the marketing section also. Then you have the contact preferences. So who are the preferred contacts and how do they want to be contacted? So you have the billing method also for that company. Then you have its shipping. Then you have child accounts. So that means if there are other accounts that are an offshoot of these accounts, you see them here. You also have some other tabs called your scheduling. So this just gives your latitude and longitude. So you have files. So this gives list of files that have been captured against this account, right? So maybe your clients you're working with will need some files to be tied to some customers, so people can quickly go and see. You could have them here. Then assets and their location. You could also capture assets and their location where they are. All these are things you could reconfigure, right, from the form interface session we had, and also the app interface. So you could reconfigure them, station this where you want to station them, and also put more information to be captured, which are the columns on any of these sections, right? So we also have the related, right, that brings other tables that are related with this account and things you could see from them. Then at the top here, you have the save, which when you make any change, you need to save, the save and close. Then you can also open the organizational chart to see how the hierarchy goes, right? Then if for any reason this account needs to leave your system, maybe for some time or something, or maybe the customer is no longer active, you could deactivate this, right? Do some connection, add marketing to marketing list. You can also assign this contact to somebody. So in dynamic CRM, each record must be owned by a user. Then if for any reason you don't need this account at all, even in the future, you could delete and you could also check access. And there are some other additional things you could do here. You could build you could switch the process flow. You could add sequence, right? Connect it to a sequence, and which we'll be seeing how that will be done when we get to lead an opportunity. So that's just basically how you have a walkthrough of an account record on CRM. So we have the contacts. So this one deals with individuals, right? Individual persons on the employees. So these are the persons that are the physical humans. So let's let this load. So let me use my own profile here. So when you click on an individual record, so you have the person's contact information sitting here. So things that have been captured are the first name, last name, the job title. So as I said, these are columns under this entity, which is under this table. You could add, increase, remove, as the case may be, depending on what your client wants. These are fully customizable, right? So also you could have direction map based on the location you've put in here. Then also you have the same timeline, just like you have in account, right? Timeline, but this timeline is only going to capture things that are done against this individual. So that's basically what you'll be seeing, and you have the option of also doing some filtering, right, on timeline, because sometimes these timelines can become very, very robust, and you might need to do filtering on them. So also for contacts, we have some other tabs at the top here. We have the detailed tabs, right, and the sections that are captured there, things like the personal section, which captures the person's gender, marital status, spouse, partner name, so birthday, and their anniversaries. So things like birthday are things you could use to send them trigger customized notification, right, in Power Automate Flow. Meaning if today is their day, maybe birthday or anniversary, then a specific email should go out to them. So you have things like marketing, just in what here, what are the billing methods, the shipping, and the contact preference for this individual. Then you could go down to your schedule just like you have. You could also have your files as you had in the other use cases. So that's basically how the account and contact, which is the customer, plays out. Now to the process of sales, right, on dynamic system. So sales always starts with a lead. So let's come to the lead. This is a lead, right? And the lead can be captured manually or from any source in the system. So you could switch. So you can see my own leads. There's no lead here. But if I click on all leads, you could see a whole list of leads already have on the system. John Santa, Peter Andrew, and all that. So let's just use to explain this lead. I will proceed to create a new one, right? Then each of the lead will be walking us through so that we could see the mind process on how it moves from leads down to invoice and how you close your sales process. So let's create a new lead. So when I create a new lead, so let's say I went out for a marketing campaign and I met with person. Okay, no. So let's say the person's name is person view, right? Let's say viewer. And let's say what this person wants is let's say networking tool, right? So let me just do this. So let's say the person is looking out for a networking tool. Then let's say this person is a developer for this company, and his business phone number. Let me just use everything. Let me just use this number, right? And his email is person.viewer at philips.com. All these are made up business name. They're not just making them up. So let's say the company is Philips Incorporation, right? And let's say their website is www.philips.com, something like this. Then you could put their street. So things that are not asterisks like this, right? They are not actually mandatory. So I could leave everything as it is and click on save. So now this lead will be created. So let's say for your customer use case, right? When a lead is created, there are some sequence of activities they will want their sales rep to perform, right? There are some sequence of activities they will want their sales rep to follow through and do once a lead is created. So you could add what we call sequence, right? To a lead. So it will be a sequence lead. Let's say I come here, I'll do click on connect sequence, right? So now it will bring out all the sequence that are tied to lead entity on the system for me to tie it with. So let's say I just only have one here, which is high volume outbound prospects. So when I click on this and click on connect, so you also have the options of reassigning this sequence to another person. So sequence is just list of activities that you want people to perform based on that lead that was gotten. So let's say I assign this to me. Then under this manage your activities, you now see the sequence highlighted, right? So now you can now see our sequence. So the next thing is requesting that should be done for this lead is an automated introductory email. So let's say if I click on email here, it's going to pop out maybe a predefined kind of email that we could use. So you could see what the email is saying, things like, hi person, in today's climate we are see many organizations looking for ways to, so you have label this is a template. So let's say I save and close. So this is a template and I mark this as complete. So when I mark this as complete, it will move me to the next sequence, right? So the next sequence is a timer. So as you can see, and any of those sequences I complete, right, they are being tied here. So let's say the next one is you want to wait for the customer, but in the interest of time, we can't wait for 3 hours here. So you could click on the sequence here and see the different list of activities that needs to be performed. So on automatic introductory email, I marked it as completed. So it's now going to wait. So you're technically waiting for the customer. Let me just skip this. So when I skip this, a call to the customer. Now it's asking you to make a call to the customer. Let's say I just put a call through. And let me mark this as complete so that we can move. So call to customer made, something like this. Got it. Then let me just save this, mark as complete. So all those things I'm doing, you'll be seeing each of them here on the timeline, right? So this one is, we'll just mark this as complete. Close tax. So now that's the next one it moved us to. And once you are done setting it up, so I could just also mark this as complete. Let's say it's telling me to set up a meeting. I'll say meeting set up with customer to understand more requirements, something like this. So I could just click on got it. So basically you can see I perform all those activities and it's telling me nice work. That means I'm done, right? So that's basically the different kind of sequence you could put. So based on the customer process and things you gathered from the requirements gathering phase, right? You could now put those informations, right, as a sequence. Then at the top here is what we call the business process flow, right? You've seen that how that is being created in our previous modules, right? So, but for this one now, to qualify this lead, there are information that need to be passed, right? Things like to confirm if it's an existing contact or if it's an existing account. Then what is the purchase time frame? So let's say this is the person wants to purchase this quarter and the person's budget is $1 million, something like this. Then the purchase process, let's say it's individual and summary, customer needs a networking tool, something like this, and I click on save. So when I click on save now, all these are now marked. I can now go to the next stage. So now this person is not an existing customer and we are fine with the things that we've passed in. So you could either click to qualify this lead, Let me just close this. Or you could disqualify the lead. If you disqualify the lead, it ends there. If you qualify the lead, it moves it from lead to opportunity. By the point of qualifying the lead, it's going to ask you if these new contacts, because they are not yet customers on our database, it's going to ask if you want to create them. So I'm going to create both the company, which is the account, and the person we are working with, which is person view. So I'll just click on qualify. So when we are done asking it to create, after we are qualifying the lead, so I'll just click on finish here. So when I'm done clicking on finish, you'll see that this will move to opportunities. You now see that we're now in the opportunity. So these are the opportunity interface looks like, right? Though you could capture an opportunity directly, right? If you think the person is already a customer and you have opportunity to sell on that product to the person, you could capture an opportunity. But I'm just walking us through from a sales down to opportunity and down to quotes, orders, and invoice. So let's say for this also we have, so there are some information you could capture, like things like proposed solution, what the customer needs, current situation, description. You could also still add to this. Remember, this is a form interface, right? And you could expand information you are collecting. The same way you had activities in leads, you could have activities that are being done in opportunities. So let's say I click on add sequence now to add a sequence of activity. Let me connect a sequence. Let's say meeting for a demo. So I connect and I assign. So the same thing you did in lead, you could now do, but this now there are different things you could see based on what we had. So let me just click on this so that I could see the different activities for this one. So there's an automated email that will go. So let's say I mark this as complete. And I say got it. So also a wait for an hour. Let's say skip this. Then email for available time slot. Now I'm requesting for the customer's time slot. You could send them an email and just I'm trying to just speed this up so that we don't have a longer session. Email sent, something like this. Click on got it. Then share meeting invite, mark as complete. Then invite sent, something like this. Then prepare for a demo. Click on this and mark as complete. So I'll say demo done. So let's say after the demo, right, we now found out that, okay, this customer wants to purchase some of our products. And that's where you now have the product tab in opportunity. So you can now add a product to this opportunity based on the demo you had. So the first thing you need to do before you can add a product is to add a price list. So price list is the price tags that are given to that different products fits from, so that it knows the price is speaking for. So let's say this is an enterprise, right? Okay, the price list available will be available based on the currency you choose. So let's say I go back here and I change this to maybe from South Africa rand to, let's say, Nigerian naira, right? And I click on save. If I go back to my product and I come to price list, you see that we'll now have a price list based on the currency, right? So you could set up different, I'll show us where we'll be setting up different currency, where you set up your price list, where you set up your products, catalogs, and all that, product family. We're going to be seeing all that. So I'll just click on, let's say, enterprise price list, right? So based on this price list I select now, products will now be available for me when I want to add a product for this customer. So the opportunity is now networking tool. So I'm selecting an existing product. So when I click on this, just click on advanced. Then the view I'll go to is my product lookup view. And let's say the person wants F5 load balancer. So something like this, right? So when I click on done, once you add this, it will automatically pick up the default units. Also show you where you could set that up on the system, the default units, and maybe it tells you the quantity. Maybe you have some discounts. You could also change the quantity here, right? As the case may be. So we'll just leave this as 1. So you could also put, maybe if there's some tax amount I need to put, then you just click on save and close. Once you hit on save and close, you'll see that your product will now be added here. You could add more product as the case may be. And down here, you will now see details of the total amount that this person is working with. So let's say after putting out all the products, the person is fine with it. And it says, okay, can I get a quote for what we discussed, right? So they sent an email for a quote. So what you do is you come back to this opportunity, then just come to quotes here. Then under this quote, you click on new quote at this top. So click on new quote. So when you click on new quote, it's going to be asking you if you want to uh, move this at the point where you want to create now an order for this. But let's just work on the quote that is being created. So let's say now the person wants the quote. Is to create a quote ID for us, tell us the revision, show who is the owner. So you, as I said earlier on, you can still extend this information that's been captured. See things like shipping information, address, so you can capture all of that. Also for quotes too, we also have the timeline, which you could use to capture things, right? Then you could go back. So now you could also still add products and the amount will reflect it. But once you're done, once the quote is okay, maybe you want to send it to someone within your team to review and all that, you could either send it as a PDF, right? Or even send a PDF directly to the customer, right? If we click on quote summary, you see it in a quote summarized format, right? You have the option of emailing it here. You have the option of saving it to Dynamics here, right? You have the option of also downloading the quotes. So you can see how the quote looks like. And also this is fully customizable, right? So let's just close this. So let's say this quote is okay after all the back and forth with both you, the finance team, everything that needs to finalize on this, and you are done. The next thing is you need to activate the quote, because without activating this quote, you can't go to creating an order. So let's say you activate this quote because the quote is fine. So once the quote is activated, you will see this order button appears up, right? You also have the option of reversing this, revising it. Maybe you want to make some changes, or at some point the customer say no, it's no longer going forward, and you need to just close this quote. So you could click on close quote. So let's say I want to create an order from here. Once I click on create an order, so it's going to ask me some question if I want to capture this opportunity now as one, because since it has moved from quote now to another level, now it's asking you, but you can still say you don't want to close this opportunity, or you could close it. So if I click on OK, so now I'll move from the quote to orders. So it will automatically move me to order. So you could see the journey is taking us through. So it's going to create an order ID for us. So let's say you put in the delivery date for this order, dates it was fulfilled, will also be captured automatically, meaning where the order gets to the customer, and also shipping address and all that. So let's say this order now was fulfilled. You can click on order fulfilled there. This marks this orders fulfilled. Then let's say you now want to proceed to create an invoice for this customer, right? You could just click on create invoice here, and it moves you from an order to invoice. And you could also send this invoice out to the customer, and depending on how you guys pass this invoice, and if the customer pays the invoice, then there's a button at the top here which you could click on as invoice paid, and that closes the process, right? So that's basically the journey on how people can move from a lead on the system right down to them closing out on that lead, which is an invoice on the system. So the things we've been using here, products are the rest. So where you could see your products, you could click on this product here, and you see a list of all the products that the organization have available from the system. And if you want to add new products, you could just click on the add product, and you'll be able to pass in the different information here. So let's just go back to our product again. So just cancel. So you could have product family, right? So it's a family of products. Then you could not have individual products. Then you could not have a bundles, meaning products that with other things, right, clustered together. Then you have your option for marketing list, right? Maybe campaigns you want to send, quick campaigns, Then you also have the goals section, right? Uh, so the goals that have been set for your sales team. You also have the forecasting view, right, where you could see forecast that was made on the system, right, based on maybe what has been set in the goals. Then you also have access to the case. So we'll get to this case when we get to customer service. And this is one of the segments, right? So the other segments, you have like the app setting. So this is where you do most of your settings, right, for your sales entity. So like I told you earlier on, when you want to set your unit groups, you come here. That's the primarily unit. When you want to set up your price list, you come here. This is where you set up your price list, right? Different price. You can see the price list we use the enterprise, government, standard. Then if you have discount, also you could set discounts here. Then when you want to do family products and families and bundles, so this is where you come to do them. You could add a family, add the products, and add a bundle, as the case may be. So your sales territory, places you'll be covering, you could set them here based on the customer's need. So also your marketing settings, it's here you're going to just make the settings that suit what the customer wants. So another thing I would love to show us is, so this is basically where you have a lot of the settings you need for your sales app, right? Then when you go down to sales insight setting, so this is the global setting. This is where you now set things like your sequence. You saw your sequence where attaching to lead, to opportunities, as the case maybe, that could guide people, your agents, right? So you could see the two of them here. That here, so you could click on new sequence to create a sequence, and you already have some templates that you could use from, right? And each of these templates tell you the entity is speaking to, right? For this one now, this sequence can only be added to a contact record. Like this one, follow up. This one can only be added to a contact. This one can be added to a lead. This one can be added to a contact. So this one can be added to an opportunity. So that's basically how you know. Or you could use any of these templates, or you could start from blank and create your sequence. So now the next also one we have is the personal settings, where you could do things like email templates, email signatures. You could also input calendar details, as the case may be. Then you also have your help and support, where you could reach out to Microsoft Dynamics Help Center, right, and get help. And also you can submit an idea. So if there are things you want to change. So that's basically the run through of the customer service module, right? And the journey mindset that the sales rep will have, and where you could see what to also expand your um, implementation for your customer. So let's just run through some of the context we have. So product catalog and price list is like I showed you. So it's where you define pricing per customer or region. So you configure your units, discounts, and currency. So like I stated, all those are sitting right here. So when you scroll down, you come to like things like price list. So when you have this price list will have its currency that is speaking to. So you have price list items. So these are now the items. These are the products that the when this price list is selected will be visible to the customer. So that's basically how where price lists are stationed on the system. So now let's move. So quote to cash process. So just like I showed us from your opportunity, you could create um, from opportunities. It flows down to you creating quotes. From your quotes, you get your orders. Then your orders do your invoice, and once they are fulfilled, you mark as paid, and they are done. Then sales accelerator and productivity tools. So like the sales accelerator, where you have things like that accelerate your operations as a sales rep. Just I don't have data on this system, right? So, but basically, it gives you access to my works, things that the activities you need to perform, so you can see them, right? And sequences. So my list of sequences of things that I need to do. So these things helps to accelerate your sales reps productivity. So also you can track email engagements. That's what I showed us in the activity panel, where you could see email. So you could click on this and just filter out only email, and it could brings out email for you so that you could track and know what's actually going on per time. So it also has integration with Outlook and Microsoft Teams. So Outlook is where the email integration comes in. So for Teams also, you have the option of chatting with Teams at the top right here. So you could see Teams here. It's getting our data ready. So okay, I need a license to use Teams. So but with this, you could directly chat with your various teammates right directly. We also have the co-pilot feature where it could help you answer questions, answer prompts, and also help you generate email correspondent as the case. So now let's move back to our site. So reporting and forecasting, just like I was showing us in the forecasting session, right? So when you come down to your forecast will be able to give you details, right? So this is my forecast for August. So this is basically where you come to get all those things. Then for the dashboard, if you come here, you have a list of different dashboards that you could have and you could create for your customer, your client, or for their business use case. And all these are syncing from Power BI. So there are also some extensive dashboard you could create with Power BI, but you need a Power BI license. So summary and what next? So that's basically the Dynamics 365 sales supports end-to-end deal management. So how you move from your leads down to where you get your invoice. So it's advisable that you always automate a lot of routines. That's what brings the power, right, of the Dynamics to the sales rep agents. So in our next module, we're looking at customer service, and that's another robust application we have in the Dynamics 365 ecosystem. So as a functional consultant, it's worthwhile you get to know about the Dynamics 365 customer service. So see you in our next module, and thank you.